All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Something went down with my audio as I was streaming the first time, but we about to get up into this anyway. So if you guys have missed the first part, I had explained already what exactly I'm going to be doing. So if you guys haven't wasn't part of the stream, or you may have just missed it, go ahead and watch that really quick. I already kind of went through the heart of the reading or the underlying energy. And I was thinking that this is us evolving, because look at what we have underneath here. The Queen of Wands. There she is. Bold and beautiful. And you know what else? One of the things I have to say about the Queen of Wands is that she is outstanding in her element of truth. She will never, ever, ever be unauthentic to herself. Like, you can forget that. So I really love that that's the card that comes up with behind the Wheel of Fortune, or excuse me, the world energy. And that's because we are coming into our energy. We are aware of our needs. We're aware to take action towards what we need and towards what we want to be, right? So I really feel like that's a one hell of a powerful card to get. And especially with Scorpio season coming on so strong. And then we got a Mercury retrograde to be ready for if it hasn't happened already. Which, let me double check here too, because there ain't no shame in looking. Because I always be forgetting. Yeah, it's retrograde now. So, like, we have a lot going on. And then one of the things I have to say is that we're under the very last degree of Sagittarius right now as well. And this is regarding the moon. So I feel like, of course, there's no doubt in our minds that going ahead and doing some tarot readings ain't gonna be bad. Ain't gonna be bad at all. So let's go ahead and get started. And I feel like too, I think the Sagittarian, energy that we're gonna get with this reading here will help us to absorb, what's going on and to take a bigger look at it. So even though we're in like a really dense and very intense time. So Scorpios, this card came out straight up. And I feel like you guys have been saying your truth and communicating your truth to a lot of people. And I feel like not only that, but you've also been extremely honest with yourself. I don't know if some of you guys have been, keeping it cool, keeping it tight, not necessarily letting those emotions slip out of hand. For some of you guys, I feel like you guys may have turned on that switch to go ahead and shut the thing down. Some of you guys, you've been understanding your emotions in a more deeper and more intimate way, for there to be better understanding of this truth. Okay. Also, I'm sorry that this thing keeps blurring up on us over here. But it's always in the evening time that it wants to do that. But I feel like you guys are laying down your truth, and I think you are understanding who you are and what rules and beliefs that you live by. Right? And I think one of the things is that you may catch yourself in Freudian slips, even though the King of Swords doesn't make any Freudian slips. But I feel like your true self, your honesty is going to come out of you when you've been either thinking or believing a certain way, and there's a different belief that comes on top of that. So you'd be like, okay, yeah, this, and then something comes out, and you're like, wait a minute, why did that come up? And I feel like there's some sort of truth here that you're acknowledging, that you're becoming more aware of. And you're learning what to do with, not necessarily if it's true or not. I feel like you do believe that is the facts of your situation, but is it something that you can stand by? Is it something that you truly believe in? So it's a little something, right? It's a little something. So let's go ahead and see what's going on with the rest of the crew. All right, we got Sagittarius, and we got the 10 of Swords. Oof, that is one rough card, y'all. 10 of Swords. Okay. Now, the 10 of Swords does usually talk about a very, very aggressive ending, something ending really badly. And then if you look really closely, you can kind of see that this person's spirit is leaving their body. But this doesn't mean that I don't believe this necessarily means that they're forever gone. But they can never, ever go back to this point in their life, right? They have transcended. They have left their body. I love this card because it doesn't just emphasize the depth of an ending or the severe pain and the devastation of an ending, but it also reflects the passage of it. So where we may be feeling stuck in some area, where we may be feeling like something's just coming, that's gone for good and done, we're not over. We are transcending. We're moving on. We are leaving in a different direction. So I really love this card and how it illustrates that, because I don't really feel like any other card, even the Rider-Waite, and I love the Rider-Waite to death, I don't know if it really does it any justice. So Sagittarius, you're going through some really difficult endings right now. You're going through a lot of different stuff. And it may not necessarily feel that great. It may not be as fun to go through, but you're also growing from this. You're evolving from this. You're leaving your physical body, your human body, or your situation that doesn't seem to be very satisfying, or the relationship that doesn't seem to be very good, or you're moving on from a situation at work that may or may not be very, easy to overcome, and you're transcending from it. You're growing from it. Every mistake or every hiccup or every delayed plan or postponed plan or ending is something that you're also seeing yourself in a different light of. So the World card is no joke here. The World card is no joke, because this would suggest that we are transcending and we are evolving and we are moving forward. And this moving forward is where we go ahead and recognize that through our downfalls or through our failures, right? This is the human term, right? This is the everyday societal term, because it really ain't a failure. It's just that we haven't gotten where we want to be yet, but we're shown where our power is, so we can redirect it. That's what I believe. I feel like this is you guys noticing how much you've grown even after something terrible went down, because I don't think that you guys are hurt or upset by it. I mean, some of you guys may be, but I feel like just by the way he's looking up in the sky like that, Sag, you're like, man, I'm going to be all right. There's way more to this. And as a matter of fact, even with your face, your face is no longer in the ground. You're looking to the sky as a spirit, and you're seeing the situation from a bigger picture. So your soul is evolving in a big way, a super big way. What did Capricorns get? Y'all, Capricorns, you guys have the devil. Interesting depiction of the devil with this card. And I think I before mentioned in part 1 that this is the first time I'm actually looking at this deck. So we're going to be reviewing these things together, but I already know how to read the tarot, so you don't have to worry about that. The devil, to me, Capricorn, is your energy. And it's not saying that you're the devil, you're bad, you're evil. No. That's not what the devil means. The devil is just a metaphor. He's used to depict where we give our power away to. And no, you're not taking people's power away. What you are doing, though, what that card represents, why that card represents you, or why you loan your energy to that card, is because you show the power of what things or people can do. They can influence. Your logo or your motto, Capricorn, is I use, right? So with I use, everything has a purpose, but it's just about whether or not it's along the path to which you want to actually exercise the usage of whatever it is that has the power over you, or whatever you use to gain power or to conquer or to achieve. And I feel like right now, Capricorn, you are understanding what influences in your life you can and cannot live without. That is the biggest thing I'm noticing here. And I feel like the reason why is because you have completed a cycle previously where you were probably, because the card before this is death. So actually not death, it's temperance, excuse me. So you had an area where you were balancing things out, sorting things out. You're just going through the motions and waiting now for the past time. And now the past time is past, right? So of course, right, you're going to be figuring out, okay, so what am I still holding on to? What am I still, putting myself into if it's no longer helping me? You're noticing things that may no longer benefit you to be involved in. And this doesn't have to be an addiction and all that. It doesn't have to be drugs. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It can relate to these things because those things can have power over you, or they give you the perception of which you no longer have power because you have such addiction. But the devil actually reminds us all of our truest power. And Capricorn, I feel like you right now are noticing where you may be, not necessarily where you may be beneficial to exercise your power in a different way. But it starts by, of course, recognizing what cages you're in, what boxes have things been put into, and if those boxes are truly boxes that deserve to be in those boxes, or do they deserve to be explored. Now, the thing is, too, with the devil is that this can suggest to people, and I already pulled cards for everybody regarding the love. This is what the blue cards underneath every last one of these are for. But I feel like, I don't know, I flipped that back down. I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're learning what you also cannot live without. Okay? I feel like a lot of you guys are learning what you cannot live without. And it's not like you can't truly live without this. You can, but I feel like it's a choice to take something with you. Hi, Rhonda girl, what's going on? But that's my gist. That's my feeling with the devil card for you guys, for Capricorns. Like, you guys are trying to figure out what you want to take with you. And I feel like with you doing so too, you're also analyzing what you've been taking with you that hasn't been working in your favor, or what you believe you may have let go out of control. Not necessarily because you haven't been paying attention. It's not like an accusation, but it feels like maybe there's some things that you would rather have a better grip on. And you're like, you know what? Let me go ahead and do that. That's what your attitude is right now, because you've already gone through whatever you needed to go through. Yes, I did go through Sag already. Y'all had the 10 of Swords come up. And I'm pretty astounded with this one, just by the way the spirit looks here. And I was just literally saying that how you guys have really grown. And this is the recovery too. Because it's already happened, the devastation, the hardship has already happened, you guys are also seeing the bigger picture of it. You're learning, you're growing with it. You're not letting yourself stick with the pain. And if you are, the card is literally saying you have everything that you need now, especially the understanding to be able to carry yourself through. So, I mean, that's one hell of a card. But Capricorn, yes, your power is where is either where you've redirected it, or it's with you all the time. It's just, it may need to be used in a different way. No worries. Aquarius. Now, we had like 3 cards come out for you earlier, but I wanted to use that for everyone because it's interesting that the sign that's represented with the collective consciousness had 2 cards, and I feel like those were truly for everybody. And I said to go ahead and check out your Aquarian placements for those, but truly you can read those as is. Like, they don't have to be based off of placements in your chart. I like to do that for fun because I was always curious and interested to know where my stuff is. And for those of you that are like me, that like to know where your stuff is and want to apply that to whatever you're looking at and see if that relates and see if that resonates, that's perfect. But you are free to take this as is. But Aquarius, though, aside from that, Aquarius, your actual card, my sisters and brothers, my air sisters and brothers out here, y'all have, I believe, the Hierophant. No, this is the Magician. I can't read. The Magician. I feel like it's very similar to a Capricorn, you guys. I feel like the situation is this. You're noticing where you can apply your energy and time into and the magnificence of your abilities. I feel like you're aware of that more so than ever. The Magician isn't necessarily just about awareness. It's not very much about just communication. It's not just necessarily about, conjuring or manipulating magic of any sort, okay? I mean, it is, but it isn't. To me, the Magician, it's right for you guys, is recognizing your role that you play in everyone's lives, including your own. And if that role that you play in other people's lives actually are affecting yours. That's what I feel like is with this Magician. Because the Magician, he knows all his tools. He knows that he can manipulate what he needs to manipulate to get what he wants. And I'm not saying y'all manipulating people, but I am saying that he's aware of what he's capable of doing. He knows what he's capable of doing. And I feel like what you are more and more becoming more and more aware of is that you are capable of making things happen in your life that are successful, that are happy, that are true, authentic expressions of yourself. But I also feel like with this understanding, I feel like you guys are looking at all of your tools and going, okay, so which one of these am I using for the benefit of my life and for the benefit of my relationships? And I'm saying relationships because of just the energy I'm getting from it. But I feel like with the magician here, for sure, you're noticing your capabilities and your influences, not only to yourself, but with other people by living in your truth. So I feel like the magician, in a very interesting way, is not only creating a life for yourself that you're happy with, but it's also recognizing where you have applied your influence. Not intentionally, but I feel like it's almost like a surveying. And it's really weird. Like when I said, the magician isn't necessarily about awareness. And this, I mean, it is awareness, but to me, I never really looked at it as, oh, let's look at this for a second. But if you notice in other magician decks, like if she's using her tools here, she's got the crystal ball and all her tools available to her. But I feel like for you guys, you're not using the tools yet. You're looking at them. You're seeing what you have around you, and then you apply your energy because you already know you have the talent. You already know you have the gift. You already know you have the capability to learn what you want to learn. But it's just all about where you want to go. It's like you have the power. Where do you want to do with it, Aquarius? You know what I mean? It's like you got open floor. So it's about knowing where your influence is going or what you're putting your influence to. Some of you guys maybe just be living so much in the moment that you're making stuff happen and you're just going moment to moment with every beat. Some of y'all are manifesting like this. Like it's instant. Some of you guys be thinking of a song or feeling really happy and then a song comes on or something happens and you're like, wow, that's a representation of how I'm truly feeling. So there's some things going on right now where you're just boom, 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 magician, like creating situations or creating message or creating synchronicities for yourself to show you where your power is too. Okay. So I think it's awesome. Pisces. Ooh, we have the Ace of Wands. All right, Pisces. So we, along with magic here with the magician, we got the Ace of Wands, which is magic in my eyes. And the magic is the fire, the passion, the energy that you exude when you're excited and amped up about a project or a certain adventure that you're going on. That, in my eyes, is magic. Why? Because passion can drive anything. Passion, the fire, anything can drive anything. Think of it. Think about a car, right? And how the gas system works. And I know this is probably going to be a really boring analogy, but think about it for a second. The gas pump or the way the car runs is they have two pumps. And they usually, what happens is the gasoline will be shot through the valve, and then through that impact and through a certain other motion in the engine, it ignites a fire, and of course that fire continues to bloom, and then that pump just kind of keeps using that gas, lighting it up and creating that smoke to keep it going. The fire of that is the life of the car. Right now, Pisces, I feel like you are embodying your life. You are embodying life, period, because you are living. You are aware of what or either you're more aware of what you want, you have something that you're going for, something that's exciting, something that's piqued your interest enough to take action, to want to go for it, to live in a world where your focus is what you want. But also, too, let's be honest, the Ace of Wands is also the boner card. So we here getting real sexual up in here. Because this is Scorpio season, guys. Of course, right? Sexual energy, that's totally contributed to Scorpio. But I also feel like, too, not only this sexual energy is like definitely playing a role. Some of you guys are probably more sexually active than most right now. But you're also using your energy in a productive manner, or you're planning to, because the Ace of Wands is the beginning. So what are you guys beginning? What new exciting adventures are you guys going ahead and going about doing? I think it's exciting. Some of you guys may also too, I know I'm just going to run through everything. Some of you guys may have an ex coming back. And the reason why I say that even more so is because Mercury is retrograde. Mercury is retrograde. So what does that mean? Reviewing the past, right? We're looking back. So of course, the Ace of Wands, yeah, we got something exciting going on. We got some definite passions kicking up. But why? Well, probably because you may have an ex coming back. Some of you guys may have a new project you guys are doing. Maybe you guys are starting a new business. Maybe you guys are being more creative now. Either way, something is requiring something starting up in the season of a Mercury retrograde. So we're gonna be revisiting this by the end of it. By the end of the time, by the time Mercury goes direct again, to go back over whatever he was, previously going back over. Okay. All right. Aries. Okay. We have Judgment for Aries. Aries, you got the card of Pluto here. So what major decisions are you making right now that will ultimately change your life? Because Judgment is not a card that's like light decisions, something small. This is pretty heavy stuff here. So Judgment to me would suggest that you guys are going through a process of reviewing. And this is a Mercury retrograde thing to me too, but it's so early on in that Mercury retrograde that it's like, wow, you're already hit with a decision to go by and do something else. But I feel like you're surveying the land, you're looking at the situation, you're like, man, this reminds me of a similar situation. And this similar situation has a lot to do, perhaps, with how you treat yourself. So what do you do for yourself? And you've already been through this already, though. So whatever you're reviewing, you've already got experience in, and good enough experience, because the world, is suggesting that we've evolved. We've gone through this already. We've completed the cycle. So you're back on, you're going through again, it seems like, thanks to Mercury. I say thanks to Mercury retrograde, but Mercury retrograde just signifies what we are experiencing in the now. It doesn't make it happen. But I feel like because you feel like you already completed this, you're like, why am I back here? Why am I revisiting this? What am I meant to decide? And I feel like, well, you already completed a cycle one way. Perhaps this is suggesting doing something a different way. The Judgment card would suggest to me that there's another option. I don't think it's not one that you haven't considered, but it may have been one you considered, but you chose a different direction. I don't know if you were unhappy or happy with it, because usually the world would suggest that you were given a gift, or there was something that was very valuable through this evolution, through this process, through this journey. And now you're going backwards to revisit that choice. Because I think for some of you guys too, it's like there's some things that may not have been finished. And even though it was put to end, I don't think it was quite done. I don't think it was fully roasted. I think it was partly roasted. I think it had one batch done and it needed another batch to go over it. So Aries, you're making big decisions. You're making big adjustments. And I feel like these big adjustments have a lot to do with who you are and what that means to you, the self-respect that you have for yourself and where you go with this. Because there's some sort of second guessing energy. The world and that Judgment energy, that's straight up second guessing. And some of you guys, it could be second guessing. Some of you guys, you may just be represented with something that you've already decided on. But now you need to take a step back and look at it differently because it's brought back up. Interesting. Taurus, you guys have the Page of Pentacles. So we're starting things small, starting things slow and easy. And I kind of feel like right now you're in a state of looking at a situation and recognizing the time that's going to need before progressing over. Some of you guys may have gotten a new job offer, or you guys may have learned something of great value recently, but I feel like something of value that has a great value towards yourself, because of course, this is the first cards I pull is about us. This is our cards. And I mentioned love earlier, but I feel like this is truly about us. So regarding you, Taurus, you're taking on a new project, or you're doing something that will get you productive, but it takes time to grow and it takes time to nurture. And I don't really know if this is just a business offer, or if this is a proposal. Could be romantic, non-romantic. This could have to do with whatever you're learning. But there's something I feel like that is in the process of a growth. And you're interested and excited to take this on because this is a page, right? Some of you guys may also be receiving some sort of message, or have given someone some sort of message of value. Something that has to do with maybe you guys gave someone an invoice recently, and it's very small, but or some of you guys are working on something that will ultimately prove to be worth your while. Just right now, it just feels like it's mundane and it's boring. Some of you guys are probably really bored with the work right now because Uranus is in your sign shaking things up. Or this is recreating a system of stability too. I feel like Taurus, you're probably recreating a system of stability. And the reason why I say that is because Uranus has already knocked down it feels like he's knocked down the pegs of your structured system of security in itself. Now you have to recreate that because so much has changed, so many things have readjusted. You just have to recommit to yourself right now, and you're doing it in small gestures that truly do have a seriously big impact. So that's pretty doggone awesome. That's pretty awesome. What we got going on here for Gemini? Now, I don't know why all these cards came up upside down, but okay. It looks like you guys have the Page of Wands. Wow, look at that. Pages back to back. So we got the Page of Wands coming up for Gemini. And this is probably about recognizing a part of you and a part of you that is excited, that's excitable, that's full of energy in life. You guys are craving fun if you haven't had any fun lately. And I truly believe, too, that this is y'all getting back in your flirting game. I feel like some of y'all may have fallen off your own wagon regarding your flirting game, but you guys are getting back on top of that game. Some of you guys are dating for fun. You guys are engaging in more fun activities. You're pursuing passions, but you're not taking really huge strides toward them, but you're taking small strides to build that relationship with yourself, to be okay with tapping into a part of yourself that will do something because you're passionate about it and not because you need it to be correct. So I don't feel like this is a correction sort of energy. I feel like this is just an expression energy, truly authentic expression. And you're coming from a place of purity. You're coming from a place of pure, honest experiencing of what your heart desires, right? What your heart wants to express in the moment. So this is truly you being more and more aware of your fire, of your little intimate flame between you and yourself. And I do feel like too, through this, you'll have more fun. And if you haven't had it already, or you're seeking opportunities to enjoy your life. Okay. So you guys are also bringing up new opportunities for yourselves to enjoy the world that you are living in, but by doing it through simple means. You're not complicating your fun. You're just being in the moment and finding little things that you have in your mundane life to be enjoyable. Okay, look at that. Cancer, y'all. Did I just see this right? Is this a Two of Swords? It is. And look at that. I'm not gonna lie. This kind of looks like Ariel's prince, and I'm not quite sure who the other one is. It may be like Zeus, or I don't know. I'm not gonna guess. But what I am gonna say is that you guys are torn between a very difficult decision right now. Some of you guys, it may be difficult. Some of you guys, you're not quite aware of what exactly the right decision is. Because, I mean, in my eyes, the swords are very logical. In the situation that we're in right now, especially if you guys watched part 1, I believe I pulled a card, or a card fell out for a lot of you guys right now. It was the Queen of Swords, I believe. Go ahead and check that out. But it's so connected. It's so connected to what this message is here, which is coming up with a solid plan. But the thing that I will say about the Two of Swords is that typically there's someone blindfolded. They're not quite able to see the choices that they're presented with, or they're not quite sure, or they're not quite aware, it seems, because of their blindfoldedness, that their emotions are a really big factor in whichever thing they choose. So, of course, right, being that the Two of Swords is coming up for you, Cancer, and the North Node is in your sign right now, you and Taurus are pretty much, getting hit up, while Sagittarius is having a party out here, which doesn't look like very much of a party, I know. you guys are trying to possibly, understand or make a decision about what you feel, try to convey how you feel. I feel it mostly is about trying to decipher what it is that you're feeling, trying to logically justify it or logically understand it. Some of you guys may be torn, maybe split in two, right? In the sense of you have certain things that you do believe, but ultimately your emotions are weighing behind one of those, even though you would either like to be a certain way, think a certain way, or see things from a certain perspective or point of view, or believe in a certain truth, or maybe you're adapting from an older truth. And you're not quite sure if you're ready to accept the new one, because the new one would suggest changing of yourself, complete evolution, the world, right? While Geminis are trying to be children again and trying to have more fun and be more lighthearted, I feel like you're trying to evolve as an individual that has a better understanding of what they're feeling. But I don't really feel like you're going to be able to really make the decision that you believe you should make, because it's not a decision that you believe you should, that is not a decision that I believe you shouldn't be making. I believe the decision that it really is called right now is for you to feel and to express authentically what you're feeling, and to go by authentically what you're feeling. It may be really hard, of course. Again, swords can be kind of tough energy, especially against water energy, because it's no joke. And it does sometimes feel like it's hurt feelings, but I feel like the hardest part is just trusting how you feel. Trusting that what you're feeling, what that truth is connected to, that is just who you are right now. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a pacifist. It doesn't make you anything. This is truly making a decision without judgment, though. Can you express and honor your truth without judgment? And I know that like Two of Swords is never really seen as like a card of judgment, but I feel like with there being a blindfold, you don't really need to see the situation to understand both sides. And it's to me, but that kind of understanding of that with Justice, the actual tarot card, it's very hand in hand in my eyes with that. Because you don't need to see the truth to know that it's a truth that you can stand by emotionally. Therefore, it gives it the meaning that it needs to have that truth in the first place. So I feel like what decisions, what truth are you torn between, that you may be feeling one way, but maybe there's something that's keeping you kind of clinging on to the other one, because either you're used to it, you've been raised by it, this is a truth that was developed based off of some sort of hurt or pain, or maybe this was some sort of happiness that's no longer making you happy. Something's going on here where there's a decision that you gotta make. A decision, of course, again, to do with what you truly believe. Leos, of course, y'all coming up as some kings. Y'all coming out as the King of Pentacles out here. Y'all looking to be more stable, more solid, more, you're looking for a committed relationship. Biggest thing. And you're not necessarily, and I don't know, this is about us, right? You're looking to have a more committed relationship with yourself as very well with anybody else. But you're also standing in your very practical power of being a business person. I think some of you guys are really working hard to establish some sort of practical front. And I don't want to say a front as in like, oh, you faking it. No. This is like a representation of yourself professionally, or something to do with your finances. You're manhandling your finances right now. You're getting that stuff sorted out, but you're also coming from a place of patience too. I don't see any real like, oh, I gotta have this now, I need this now. You're very, very patient, because you want it done right. You don't want it to be like an impulsive thing. You want this to be done right. And and I feel like you guys are taking the steps at this moment to go ahead and do it right, do it slowly, right? But you're also very much aware of the process. You're very thorough. You're trying to be as thorough as you can. And I feel like, too, you're also providing yourself, or you're trying to create for yourself a comfortable place or state where you know that you are solid again, or at least you are solid now, right? At least you want to be more solid, period, for yourself. So, of course, your mindset, your thinking cap is, of course, the opposite of Scorpio, even though you're only 4 signs, like 3 signs away, excuse me, 2. And you guys are both fixed energies. I feel like the 2 kings that come up here are both fixed energy anyway, and they're representing the signs that are the least compatible. And I say least compatible with compassion. I'm not saying that nobody can date the sign that is the least compatible. I'm saying that the most challenging aspects for the elements that I'm talking about. For instance, Scorpio's most challenging aspect is Aquarius, right? Because this is a square. They're squared with Aquarius, right? Same with Leo. Y'all are squared with Taurus. Some of you guys are very fixated on the Taurus too. Some of you guys may be not fixated. Shouldn't say fixated. Some of y'all may be straight up fixated though. But some of you guys also could be, very possessive of someone, or someone that's a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, and you feel like they are yours. Someone you feel like you belong to someone, or someone belongs to you to some degree. But that's very, that's very rare, especially when it comes to just talking about the self. But your main focus is being stable. Your main focus is being practical and, like I said, manhandling them finances. Virgo, look at what we got here. We got the star for y'all. We got the card of Aquarius out here for Virgo. Virgo, I love this. You guys are opening the door to new hope. You guys are starting over, starting fresh, achieving and going towards new dreams, new horizons. And you're doing this as openly as you possibly can, too. You're not trying to, just kind of, keep it in a straight and narrow path, and this can be the only way. This is honestly, this is you going and pursuing something new, something brand new, but something that you truly do want to pursue. And in pursuing this journey, you are also healing instances in the past where you may have been very hurt, or you've been very much in pain. You're creating a new world, a new life, a new age for yourself. And in doing so, you open the door for manifestation. You open the door for new love. You open the door for healing. And I think that's pretty doggone awesome. I feel like you guys are also putting you're putting your own energy into it. You're putting your own energy into what you're trying to manifest for yourself, or trying to create for yourself, a new age of Virgo, rather. The new age of Virgo for you guys, you're definitely putting a lot more care into yourself and what your needs are, when paying attention to, what you consider to be important for yourself. You're putting your needs above all else, because you are creating a new world for yourself. You're creating a new habit. You're creating everything new. But you're also putting a lot of work into it. And it's exciting, because I think this is like an element of freedom that you may not have felt for a really long time, if you have ever felt it at all, Virgo. And I think this exciting new beginning is quite interesting, because it's parallel to Pisces, which is starting something new too. So both of you guys, in this really interesting way, are growing to improve your own self needs and expression. And I think that your focus, especially right now, Virgo, is absolutely positive. Not saying that anyone else's here isn't positive, or it's not saying that the star is only a positive card. But I am saying is that you're seeing the situation of your life in a way that opens doors. And that's exciting. So Virgo out here making new strides in life. We see what's up. And last but not least, my sisters and brothers out here, Libras. All right, we have the Emperor. Okay, he looks actually kind of sweet if you look closely. He don't look angry. He has that discerning look, right, that he could probably put on, but truly, he doesn't look like a very bad guy. But you guys are also I think some of you guys are trying to establish some sort of control of yourself, of your life. You guys are being your own boss. You guys are putting your stuff in a very structured box. Like you have something going on here that would put you in the driver's seat, or you guys are trying to put yourselves in the driver's seat. You guys are trying to direct your kingdom in the direction in which you want to direct your kingdom. You guys are putting your foot down when it comes to certain things too. And I feel like too, you also being way more stubborn than you usually are. And I feel like it's because since we are in your second house right now, Scorpio, the element that we're in is water. We are more possessive of what we feel emotionally attached to. So it doesn't not make sense. I'm using double negatives here. It doesn't not make sense that you would be like this right now, because you're more possessive of not only your needs, but you're also more possessive of, you're not possessive, but you're also wanting to control more of your emotions, your needs, your desires, your passion, because Scorpio is all about passion too. You're definitely in that direction where your love, what you cherish, what you have, that means a tremendous amount of so much to you. You're definitely wanting to make sure that that is heading in the direction that you mean for it to head into, and you're not trying to let up on that control. And I don't think you guys are being controlling, but I think you're definitely stubborn. You're sitting in your throne. You're not moving. You're not budging, like in the sense of you're not going to compromise what you believe, but you are making strides to grow and improve that kingdom of yours, that kingdom of sacredness, of intimacy, of sexual energy, of love, and even taking care of what you're feeling, because ultimately how we feel has to be something that is acknowledged and respected. And I feel like you guys are ultimately respecting your feelings at this moment, or you guys are trying to lay down some sort of structure that makes sure that your emotions are always going to be considered. Some of you guys are straight up dealing with an Aries, but that's just me throwing it out there. Okay. So aside from that, let's get on to the love stuff now. To the love stuff. So we already tapped into this, and this is going to be a part of our love reading too. How we see ourselves will also come up in our love lives. So Scorpio, back to you, lovelies. We have the Four of Pentacles. Okay. I'm not going to lie. The King of Swords and the Four of Pentacles, to me, it reminds me straight up of what's going on here with Libra, with the Emperor card and their personal energy. You guys have the Four of Pentacles, and I feel like you guys are being real about some things that you may be holding on to, and you guys are maybe coming to some sort of conclusion as to why you're holding on to them. And I feel like it's painfully obvious. Now, this could be that this is a relationship that you're dealing with. This could be this is a business. This could be a business relationship. This could be things. Could be a home. It could be anything. But you found some sort of comfort in this, and it hasn't actually, I don't know if it's pushed you forward or not. Typically with the Four of Pentacles coming up, that doesn't tell me that you've been pushed anywhere. It's honestly meaning that you've been staying very dormant. You've been staying still. Not a bad thing, but through this dormancy, through this non-action, you have been reviewing. You've been looking closely. And I feel like you guys have been definitely coming to conclusions, coming to some sort of realization that you may or may not necessarily be getting everything that you could be getting out of the Four of Pentacles situation here, out of this Four of Pentacles. So your safety net is showing to be a net of also productivity, of growth, of everything else. And you've already gone through a situation where I feel like it took a long time. It was pretty hard to get. But through that understanding of working so hard to get this, I feel like you're trying to realize, I think you're realizing that you're too smart for it. Some of you guys maybe feeling you're too smart for the situation. You're too aware, and you deserve more. There's something that your guys are looking at and you're reviewing and you're like, it's comfortable now, but am I limiting myself? Because the King of Swords will always ask the hard questions. And I feel like y'all sitting here right now with your love life asking the really hard questions. Am I in a place where I'm growing, or am I holding on to a relationship or a situation or this love life of mine that isn't actually making me really happy? Because the King of Swords I don't really know if he's happy or sad. He don't really express any real emotion. So what have you been cold stoning to that's been keeping you dormant? Saggies! Your love lives have got the 5 of Pentacles. My goodness, we're going up in here. Okay? Some of you guys, this is the ending of poverty. Okay? But you don't hate the time where you didn't have a lot of money. You didn't hate the times where you were struggling in your relationships. The way the 10 of Swords is displaying itself in these cards right now. Look at the 10 of Swords in this card. It's almost like you guys are looking at the situation like, yes, I've been through a struggle. I've been through some hardships. But that has not put me down. That hasn't kept me from doing what I want to do. It hasn't kept me from loving myself and loving the relationship that I'm in. And even though you're struggling right now, I think you guys are more and more aware, painfully obvious too, a lot of the reasons as to why you were struggling in the first place. And I believe it's a really good coming of self when you recognize your power in the situation. Right? And I feel like really attributing this to the 10 of Swords, where you guys feel like the ending ended, like where the situation was put to a stop, was by you no longer engaging in a situation that didn't promote what you wanted to promote. That, or you stopped engaging in allowing yourself to see the world from a poverty point of view. And I'm not saying that guys have been seeing yourselves as poor, or you guys have been, low in life. Some of you guys, I'm just gonna be straight up. So some Sagittarians that I've seen have been very, very pessimistic. They've been seeing the world from the opposite end of the lens, very similar to this way. But that's showing that you've ended that. It's showing that you're no longer blaming the world, no longer seeing the situation as unfair and unjust. You're working with what you've got and prevailing through it, regardless of what the situation is, because you know that no matter what the situation is, no matter who did what or why, you are ultimately I can't say it. You are ultimately the true solution and key to what actually makes you happy. You know it. No matter what happened, no matter who did what, no matter why, it don't matter, because you know that ultimately you're going to be the one that gets out of this situation, and you're going to prevail through this. And the way you did that is not just by recognizing and growing with all of your, with the difficulty of this ending here, regardless of however it ended. You also recognize that it doesn't take away from you to have had that position. It actually pushed you further because you're compassionate towards yourself. I get this feeling with the 10 of Swords that you're super compassionate to yourself. You've been extremely compassionate with yourself, and that is what is not allowing you, but this is what's pushing you forward to keep the grind going, not in the sense of getting out of where you are, but to see how far you can grow. So it's no longer I got to get out of here. It's man, I wonder what I can do. I'm going to push myself in a position, especially in my relationships, where I'm struggling in my personal life with interacting with people or what I enjoy. Because love doesn't have to do with just a person. This could do with career too, and what you love to do. It's like you're saying to yourself, I understand why I haven't been where I could be. So now I'm going to do what I know I can do, despite what the world is showing me. It's so powerful, y'all. All right, so that was Sagittarius. That was Sagittarius right here. Let's go ahead and see what the hell is going on with my Capricorns out here, but the devil energy. Ooh, y'all got married. You guys have gotten married or attached or hooked up. This is the 4 of Wands. And this could suggest that you guys have moved up in a higher place of commitment. This could be a promotion, some of you guys. This is a celebration, right? To move on to a place of stability. 4s are stable places. So to have the 4 of Wands here, this could be that you guys have moved, or you guys have done something that would signify a great achievement. Of course, this isn't talking about the end game. This isn't the end all be all. The end all be alls will be the 10s. And even then, we still cycle through it again, even after that. But I feel like you reached a standpoint where you're happy, you've prevailed, you've done a lot of growing, and you've done a lot of achieving. The thing that's kind of like catching my eye, and aside from the possibility of y'all getting married, because it's totally possible, but that you've gotten comfortable with where you are, and maybe are trying to stay in that sort of celebratory energy. Some of you guys deserve to stay in that celebratory energy. But where it again gets me is that the devil is about what has control over you, or what you allow to have control over you. Because nothing really truly ever has control over you. You truly have the power to change anything that you want. But of course, that ultimately again makes it a little harder to make the decision, because yes, it has to be you that makes the decisions to be able to grow. So what is it here? What is the devil energy for y'all regarding you moving forward with this? Because the Four of Wands, you guys are in a good place, yes. But there's so much more to do, so much more to grow, so much more to give time and effort to. But the devil will suggest that something's holding you back. Something's keeping you from doing this. Maybe it's a certain commitment, a certain agreement that you may not have agreed to or wanted to agree to, but you feel like you're obligated to it. There's something that's tying you from moving forward. So it would suggest too, again, the world would suggest that you guys have come out of a situation where you've evolved, but you're revisiting something that's keeping you from evolving even further. Not saying that you need to evolve all the time, because we do need those days, and we do need months, and we do need retrogrades to help us to review things that we may be stuck on. Looking back, taking moments to pause, having a moment to rest, or even having setbacks are not bad things. It's just about what these setbacks are meaning to you so you can move forward. Because ultimately, we could be like Sagittarius over here looking at our death like, wow, I've gone and learned so much. Let me apply this. Because you guys are going to do the same. It's just about where is the energy going to that's making you feel like you can't progress forward. And I'm saying that I don't know if you guys are truly feeling that you can't progress forward. Some of you guys may just be like, I don't know how to, because you're giving a lot of your energy and attention to something that may not push you in the direction that you want to go, or rather it's keeping you where you rather not necessarily just settle and be, because I feel like you guys know that there's more. It's just that there's something that's like in your way. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It could be a belief system. It could be a truth. It could be a family member sometimes. It could be friends. It could be even our lovers. But it's not those people that set you back. It's not even really you allowing them to set you back. It's just, it's about where you could instead utilize the setbacks to your advantage, to shift the energy toward going instead of stopping or yielding or limiting. Some of you guys too, just be straight up too, because aside from the deepness of the messages, some of y'all straight up just having a good ass time. Some of y'all are just having a lot more sex, and you guys are just enjoying your relationship. You guys may be really, really, really consummating this relationship or new marriage. Some of y'all may be just having a good time. Maybe making up for lost time when you weren't having fun. Maybe you guys are spoiling yourselves for the work that you did put in. Some of you guys may be straight up doing that because you have come to a place where you can celebrate this. You've done enough to be able to celebrate. And it could be that you guys are having a good time right now and then just enjoying yourselves, because there's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself. Which would explain the setback or explain the non-motion. Because you're having a good time, Capricorn. You're celebrating. So, of course, take that message as you will. Both of those. Aquarius, what we got going on in our love lives here? Hey, Liz, what's going on, girl? Look at that. Boom. The 2 of Cups, Aquarius. What is up? See, okay. So I was thinking this too, but I wasn't going to say anything until I, got the inclination. But remember I was saying that you were looking at situations and how you're surveying your tools. I'm not trying to say that people around you are tools and, you're not, like I said before, you're not manipulating nobody or anything. But I do believe that with the Magician coming up, you're aware of your power, and you're also surveying what tools you need to use, or tools that you want to use, or how your tools have been influencing other people's lives. And it's very weird to say that with a Magician card, because the Magician is very much about us. So how does that have to do with anyone else? Well, if it didn't say so already, the relation between one another. Yes, you did, girl. You have some hell of a timing. And I was just talking about how y'all be manifesting stuff on the spot because you're being in the moment with everything. Some of you guys are straight up manifesting a person that come into your life, but I feel like you're doing that by focusing on what you are doing for you. So you're manifesting that for yourself. Therefore, you will probably run into somebody that feels the same way about you, about themselves. You're going to actually probably run into a very similar person to who you are, like if you haven't already. But the Magician would suggest too that you are, I feel like, at least to me regarding this reading, is that you're looking at all of the things that you have at your, that you use on a daily basis to manifest, but you're also looking at how you could further your learning, or perhaps, how being yourself may be impacting others. Not again, not to change it, because I don't think you're looking to change yourself. I don't think you need to change yourself. This is not about changing anything. It's just about this awareness of your capabilities. And then I feel like it's how you relate to others and truly seeing someone else for who they are, because you truly see you for who you are, the Magician. So I feel like there's a lot of emotional understanding of that, as well as you meeting a lot of like-minded individuals. So you are bringing in people that match your energy. You bring in lovers that match your energy. Interesting. But there's a lot of magic behind this. And I say magic in the spirit of Halloween, and because, shoot, why not? Magic is fun to say. But I feel like the magic with this is the type of manifestation you could do with another person. Like, you are powerful alone, Aquarius, but to have another gangster in the mix is a little dangerous, right? To have 2 alphas together, it could be dangerous, not for the alphas, but for the rest of the world. So who have you been partnering with that has been ready to plot the world's conquerings with you, that you may have been interested in doing on your own, but now you got a partner to help you with. You have somebody to hear it looks like a partner in crime, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not saying that y'all bad people, it's a joke. But I do truly feel like you guys have got somebody coming in that's going to support every decision that you make, because it's already a decision that they have already made in their heads that they plan to do themselves. So you're partnering up with people that are really, really powerful. Powerful as you are, which is scary. And it could be a Leo, but it could be someone that's Earth energy. Because if we're doing the whole relationships thing, right? If we're doing love, then of course we got to look at your 7th house, which is Leo. And like Leo, their personal card was the King of Pentacles. So what's up? I didn't do that for the rest of them. I just realized, but I will going through it. But signs on the lower half here, Taurus onto Libra. Pretty like, if you want to attribute that to your 7th house, to how you relate to people, because the 7th house is a relationship, the house of relationships and public enemies. So you can associate what I said about the previous signs for your 7th house energy and your relationship energy too. But I'm going to still read your love cards as if I was talking to you, if that makes sense. But you guys attribute it to however you want to attribute it. But that's one hell of a message, Aquarius. Okay? That's one hell of a message. Pisces, we already had the Ace of Wands come up. We have now The King of Wands. Okay. Okay. The reason why I'm laughing is because there's no letting up on this fire. And not only are y'all excited and ready to go, but y'all amped up as fuck. Okay? There's not a snowstorm that can stop you. That fire is going to burn infinitely, or that fire is going to burn as long as it's interested. Now, some of you guys, this could be that you guys are reconnecting with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But I kind of get a vibe that this is you. You guys are going in and swooping into the situation, taking charge, stepping into an energy where there is dominance. And this is dominance on your part. Some of y'all may be a lot more aggressive towards what you want, a lot more aggressive to what you are trying to achieve. And the achievement may be to have more fun and to enjoy what you enjoy, to express more of who you are and the things that you do. Taking more action along the lines of who you are. So I feel like not only is this possibly referencing a fire energy that's in your life, and it could be that you're a lot more intimate and a lot more passionate within your relationship as well, regardless of whoever the sign is, right? Because this is about your partner too. So I feel like y'all are expressing your passionate energy through your relationships, but you're also expressing through yourself, and it's giving you so much confidence now. Like, you guys are super confident. Almost as confident as Aquarius. So I feel like you're feeling more confident because you're putting yourself out there. And that kind of like spontaneous action of just being more assertive is thrilling. So interesting, Pisces. All right. So y'all have the Ace of Wands and the King of Wands here, Pisces. Aries, we had Judgment. So I was like, wasn't even messing around. I mean, wasn't even upset because Judgment, we are in Scorpio energy. We are in Scorpio energy right now. So of course, the dark, the hard, the interesting and transforming decisions are coming up. But why? Because this has to do with where we're going. Of course, planning ahead. Okay, makes a lot more sense. Now, the Three of Wands. I'm gonna hold this for a second. The Three of Wands. That is planning for the future, but it's working with other people. Of course, it's the card for love, no doubt. We are working with people that matter. But I feel like this is honestly, we're reviewing this again. We're reviewing what the people that we have around us that we say are working together to truly see the reliability of everyone, to see the stability of everyone, and really just trying to get an overall understanding as to where everyone's efforts can truly benefit the progress of a plan. So, of course, you're not necessarily taking action now. You're just going through the process of redirecting traffic for the purpose of executing something that you've been trying to plan for a while. But I feel like, too, you're also measuring the quality. You're also measuring the quality of the people that you have in your corner, the people that you have in your circle. This even could include your partner, your romantic partner here. But I feel like with Judgment, you're reviewing the plans that you previously made, because it's almost like you put a huge stop on that because you needed to look at it again because something either was missing, or you may be having, I don't know if it's second thoughts, but there's something that you may feel like you've missed, but you want to be more thorough, I feel, with Judgment coming up like that. Because ultimately, you know that this decision that you're making is ultimately going to change your life. It's going to be really huge. If it's not going to change your outer world, it's going to change your inner. And of course, you want to make sure that you're going into the underworld. If you're going to the underworld, which doesn't mean that. It means rising of the ashes. But if you're going to be going down a certain path, you want to make sure that who you have around you is someone that you can trust and rely on. Interesting. Very interesting. Taurus. Y'all have the Page of Pentacles as your personal card for the month of November. And let's see what y'all have for your love energy. Oh, shoot. Y'all have the Star. Have you guys proposed to Virgo over here? Are you guys interacting with Virgos? Because we see Virgo over here with the Star already. And then now y'all have it in your love energy. So you guys are pursuing something new in love. You're starting fresh, you're starting over. But I feel like you're doing this slowly but surely because you're also re-establishing a commitment and love relationship with yourself. The star is a new beginning. It's a fresh start. It's a new passage. It's the card for Aquarius. But the way we improve, the way we grow is by not just learning from the past, but by choosing to focus our energy towards something that will improve us personally, emotionally, intimately, and even externally. So a lot of you guys are dating again. This is probably not a person specifically. Some of you guys, there may be a straight up person in your life. Some of you guys are rebranding yourselves in the relationship, in the love community, in the business class, in the business areas, in your communities. You guys are rebranding yourself. But you're doing this by healing old wounds. You're doing this by freeing yourselves from old attachments, by creating healthier commitments to yourself, and starting small projects that truly do make you, that make you feel good about yourself. I love energy with energy. I mean, I love earth with earth. I love signs that, like card elements that pair best with their original element. Because I feel like with Page of Pentacles, this is going to not only increase your level of boundaries, your standards for boundaries for yourself and for others, but it's also going to improve your self-esteem. And of course, it's going to take time, but it's an exciting new journey to rebrand yourself and to create a new relationship with yourself. You're a totally new person. You're not the same person that started out in the beginning of this year. You're not even you're not even really the same person that was. You're not the same Taurus that existed back in May last year when Uranus first went into Taurus, because he went into Taurus, back into Aries, and back into Taurus again. So the first time Uranus went into Taurus, you saw a glimpse of the new you. You weren't ready for it. Uranus went back, and it re-showed you when you had an idea of what that was going to look like. And it kind of gave a backstory when it went back into Aries almost. It kind of felt like it gave a backstory as to why you were changing, because, of course, the old you don't fit. But now you're embracing this change. You're embracing it. But I feel like through embracing the new changes, you're also working with new commitments for yourself. Maybe old dreams that you may have had in the past that you maybe didn't feel like you had enough time to do or to pursue, but now you do. So it's pretty damn awesome, Taurus. Pretty damn awesome. All right. So, Geminis. Yeah, the Page of Wands. I was saying y'all bringing that flirting game back up. Y'all have the Fool. I'm not even fooling with y'all. Y'all totally starting up. You guys learning to be kids again. That's straight up. Learning how to have more fun. Learning how to enjoy life. Learning to pursue your truest desires, even if it's small, simple, and basic. You're learning to return to these, or you're learning to follow your emotions and follow what you're feeling to be authentic to who you are. And this, in a way, this is like tapping into an area of expression that you ultimately been wanting to express, but you haven't really been feeling the most comfortable. Well, now you got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose with being yourself. You got nothing to lose by choosing to go and pursue what you want. And I feel like, especially with relationships and starting over, you're starting the dating game over too. You're starting it all fresh. You're fresh with this. You're not bound by anything, and you've learned what you need to learn about yourself. Well, about that situation with your last relationship to be able to start the new ones. To start new and start again. Because look at the world. The world is the underlying energy. So makes sense, right? That you're starting over. Because you've already gone through enough to know that what really matters is to pursue the passions that you have. But you don't have any doubts. You don't have any sort of, expectations either. You're just being in the moment and enjoying time as it goes by. You're enjoying yourself and your expression as you go. I love it. So, Cancer. Remember, we were talking about what we need to decide on. Let's take a look at your love life, see what that's showing up. 8 of Pentacles. Okay. So we've been putting a lot of hard work into something. Maybe your love right now is your work, right? Maybe you guys are going through and helping people, healing people. Because Cancers, believe it or not, Cancer, your energy is very good at healing and very good at nurturing and caring, because that's mother, right? The mother energy is from Cancer. That's the Cancer energy. And I'm not saying all Cancers mother people, but I am saying that with the dynamic between you and Capricorn being Saturn, the father, the moon is a lot more softer. It takes a little bit of that blow off, and you are applying more nurturing and more understanding, and a little bit more of a intuitive care aspect that mothers typically have, right? Mothers are mothers because, or associated with Cancer because they have an intimate connection between their children. That is an intuitive mechanism for mothers out here. Some, I don't want to speak for all mothers, and some mothers be like, nah, I don't know about that. But I know for, like as far as stereotype and nature goes, there's an instinct to take care of your young. And that instinct is it's hardwired into mothers per se, to take care, to nurture, to love unconditionally. And so with that said, it looks like whatever you've loved, whatever you've been loving, whatever you're investing your time into, it's been a lot of work to do. You've been putting a lot of effort towards it. You've been putting a lot of focus into it. And even though you've been putting a lot of physical and actual work into it, it's almost like your heart still doesn't know if it's in it. It's almost like at first maybe it was. But now I think there's something going on where there's a conflict between truths regarding what you're putting your effort toward. And it may be hard to continue. I don't know if it's hard to continue to do the hard work needed, because I think you're still going to, you're doing the best you can with what you got. But it's almost like you're not quite ready to change your focus yet, because you're not quite solid on the decision making regarding the hard work that you're putting in. Not saying that, you're procrastinating and you're not looking at the situation. There's an element of understanding your own emotions in order to understand where your real focus and energy needs to go into. Because right now, with your relationships, it's hard work. The love is hard work. Some of you guys may be just dealing with some sort of clashing energy. And typically, again, the Two of Swords, I don't see those as arguments, but I feel like somebody may have an opposing argument. And then because you love them, you're not going to look at that, but your heart is saying, that doesn't seem right to me. Something's going on with that. I don't know if I can agree with that. I don't, like, emotionally, your heart is directing is hitting a certain mark on the radar for you regarding what you're working hard for. Interesting. All right, Leo. Let's look at your love life, since you be coming up as the King of Pentacles, all being all serious and trying to be all committed and all that. Ooh, the Five of Cups. Well, we see what's going on. Some of you guys may have broken up with somebody. Either this is a breakup, or this is something that was precious to you at one time and it's no longer available to you, or you've made yourself unavailable to it. And I don't typically see the Five of Cups as someone voluntarily sacrificing something. This is almost like this was an accident, or this was like almost like a regretful thing that they didn't mean to tip the cups over, or they didn't mean to lose what they thought was nice to them. But I do feel like the situation here is that the Five of Cups for y'all is that your relationship is filled with a lot of loss. Like, you may have felt like you lost out a lot on your relationships, which is perhaps again why we have the world coming up, because you've evolved and you've grown from a lot of those falling outs and improved. And now you're choosing to see the brighter side of the situation for all of your relationships and future ones going forward. But the King of Pentacles, he's got structure, he's got boundaries, and he also is aware that things do take time, and he's willing to take the time to make sure it's right. And I don't think that you guys were rushing the situation before, but I do feel like you've gotten stronger with your boundaries, and you're not interested in playing games with people if they're not showing to be very serious, because you're very serious. You're very, very serious right now. You're not interested in doing the dance of, are we sure? Are we not sure? You're not indecisive. You're decisive when the King of Pentacles comes out. Very similar to the King of Swords. I feel like the King of Swords and the King of Pentacles are the most decisive kings. Other than the King of Wands, too. I mean, to some degree, he's pretty decisive. But then the moment's notice, that could change because he's passionate about something else. But usually, being that he's a fixed energy, typically that doesn't happen like on a dime. But I do believe that the King of Pentacles and the King of Swords are one of the most decisive energies, because when they commit to it. There's no half-assing it. Either he'll speak his truth or he will represent his truth by either performing the action or surrounding himself with what he believes he's deserving of. So I feel like despite all the people that come into your life, all the bad apples, or the apples that weren't quite as ripened as you thought they were, and that's not a bad thing either way, you've become way more certain of your value, your worth, and you're going to pursue what that is, what that looks like for you in the physical and your relationships emotionally. I feel like you're only surrounding yourself with people that share your vibration, because you don't have the energy or you don't care to share that with people that you don't believe are up to the same standard. Not saying that you believe you're better than everyone, but I am saying that because you have your head screwed on in a serious way, like you got it screwed on tight, like it's between your shoulders, it's not rolling around, you're not going crazy, you're not insane, because you have your stuff, you're trying to lock yourself down and be very, stable for you. You're not interested in playing with people that aren't showing that. So that's why I feel like you're looking at and reviewing a lot of the bad relationships that you may have had, but you're seeing the good in those, because now you are more and more aware of the real relationships that are in your life that do matter, that do mean something to you, that do have value. And you take your time to express the value that you see in the relationships that you currently have, that are still remaining from all the ones that may have fallen out, the ones that stuck, the ones that show you that the world is, to show you that the world is just as beautiful as you see it, Leo. The ones that do see your beautiful picture of what the world looks like. And I feel like you're noticing those people even more now because of the stuff that you've gone through with other people that you didn't honestly, either you felt you didn't deserve, or it was just like, ugh, And then, like, y'all will know what ugh mean, because let's be honest, right? That expression of it is better than any words can really express. So I feel like that's a pretty doggone message, pretty doggone good ass message right there. So Virgo, we starting out with the star. Okay, we getting new beginnings, starting things fresh, having new hope in our life, in our relationships. Well, that is to be determined. The moon is coming up in y'all love's lives. It's nothing bad, but you guys are redefining who you are with the star coming up as your personal card. And with the moon, I feel like there's a lot of healing and effort that's going to be going into your love life right now, because you don't trust your emotions, or there's something here that makes you anxious, that doesn't give you the clear picture of something. It's not as blatant or clear as you would like it to be. You may be interacting with people that are confusing too. But it could also signify too that you may not be quite you don't know what you feel or what you want in your relationships right now, which is why you're starting fresh anyway, because you're wanting to relearn who you are and who you are in relationships too. So it makes 100% sense to have the star card come up in your energy with the moon, because no way in the world, if you're trying to reinvent yourself and understand who the new Virgo is, there's no way you're going to know who you are and what you want in a relationship. You could, but how accurate would that be if you don't know who you are, basically? So of course, right, that makes total sense. You're reinventing yourself. So there's not a clue of how your relationships are going to be, what you're looking for in your relationships, and necessarily what you feel as far as what love would mean to you anyway. But that doesn't mean that's not something that you will eventually learn. It looks like you're in the process of not only healing your anxiety or the that feeling to run away from relationships. It's almost like you're aware and have new hope for it, and therefore you're willing to work hard on it and improve your view of relationships for yourself, to no longer have that fear of whatever fear that it may be for you regarding interacting with another person or dealing with a relationship. You're learning yourself so you can no longer fear relationships. And I don't think you fear relationships. I kind of feel like a lot of you guys have had your boundaries crossed, and you're reinventing who you are from those boundaries, not being there, not being reinforced, or so forth. And you're relearning how to establish your boundaries for future relationships. So right now it's up for grabs. But the biggest thing too, I feel, is that the moon is priming you up to be aware of your emotions and how you feel, and trust your feelings. I know your emotions are not concrete evidence that something's wrong, but I feel like with you and learning you're also learning your 7th house here, which is Pisces energy, and the Pisces energy is raving with all kinds of fire and energy. You have a lot of intuitive gifts, and I feel like you're becoming more and more aware of that by being more aware of your feelings and or the overwhelming amount of feeling that you have right now that you may have probably suppressed in the past, saw it as not important, or perhaps just wasn't really, it wasn't your focus at the time. And now it's no longer giving you the option to look away from it because it's right there in your face. Look how big this moon is. You can't avoid it now. It's intensified. And it's not a bad thing. It's just now it's about learning what you can do with your feelings, of what your feelings can show you. But I feel like in the way of doing this too, it's not by being attached or committed to anything, but just by living your truth and going along the path of exploring the new you. The only commitment that you should really even having right now anyway. But wow, one hell of a message for Virgo. Last but not least, we got Libra next, and we had the Emperor coming out, so we being very stickler about what we want and what we want to do. No compromising. Like, the hardest thing for Libras to do is to not compromise, and the reason being is because we do not like conflict. Why do we not like conflict? Because it's one feeling that we don't really necessarily like. I know I don't like conflict necessarily, but in this case, we don't like conflict if we feel or deem it's not necessary, and we feel like it's not important. Well, we're looking at our lives, looking at ourselves, and saying, "Yeah, we're fucking important now. We're very important." And I feel like after Libra season, which was honestly Aries season for Libras, this was us coming into our power and recognizing that we do deserve to have what we want, and we don't need to be compromising what we want for other people to no longer, I feel like to no longer just disregard, right? So this is about accepting and acknowledging what we want and going for it without having to worry about the repercussions, because we are the boss. Whatever repercussions there are, we'll handle it, because we are the ones that are dealing with it. We're the ones that are taking action. And we're also putting up some situations, or putting up a very dominant figure in our own personal lives regarding the things that we may need done for ourselves. But what does our love lives look like? The world. Are you serious right now? Okay. So the relationships. Okay. So your relationships right now, Libra, they have come to a seriously big revolution. Like I'm not even joking. Now you have 2 major arcana cards come up here. Same with Virgo. And I feel like what you're taking control of is who you've learned you were that didn't work for you. Does that make sense? You are now establishing and taking very, I don't want to say very aggressive action. Some of y'all are very aggressive. Some of y'all may not be super aggressive, but you're aggressive enough or pretty aggressive to yourselves to start being someone that is considering themselves and what they want and what they are trying to contribute. But you're taking a lot of action at this moment towards learning from what you've already learned. Okay, or from you're trying to enact or trying to live by what you've learned or what situation you've completed. It's almost like you guys have gotten some sort of new rule and you're enforcing it. The Emperor in my eye is the enforcer. Actually, the Hierophant would be more the enforcer. The Emperor is someone that just walks the walk. So now the situation could be this: are you walking the walk? Are you choosing to be stubborn? Are you doing things now because you know the value of non-compromise, of sticking by what you believe should be in your favor for you? Some of you guys, again, it really feels like you've gone through something quite profound. But it's not quite finished. I feel like some of you guys, it may be finished, it may not be. Some of you guys may, and I say finished, I think it reached a head at some point, but there's some sort of revisiting that's coming up with this, because the world could sometimes suggest revisitation of a place in your life. So if some of you guys may be revisiting something, or you guys are trying to no longer repeat the same process as you once was. And there's not really a big indicator here that you're not trying to repeat the past. But considering that, Libra, you don't typically come up as an emperor, it's pretty doggone profound to me. You know what I'm saying? So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pull us the power of surrender, because hell, we need to get an idea as to where our energies are, and honestly, why not? I love these decks. So I'm going to be pulling 4 for each element, and then I'm going to go ahead and let you guys enjoy the rest of your Halloween. So let's go ahead and see what water signs get, because we are in a water energy right now, Scorpio season. So we got to honor that energy. Let's go ahead and see what Scorpios got first. What should water energy know from you, power of surrender? All right. And we got surrender your addictions. Interesting. Whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. And addiction doesn't necessarily have to, like they said, it doesn't have to just be alcohol, food, sex, or people. And addictions don't have to be as blatant like this. It could be just some things that you're kind of obsessed about, some things that you are hyper aware of, or, you're just really, that's your go-to when things are not feeling that great in your life. I feel like, considering that we have the King of Swords and the Four of Pentacles for y'all anyway. This is suggesting big time that you guys are already doing this. You guys are already surrendering your addictions. You're already surrendering what you are holding on to, what you are allowing to hold you back. Again, there's nothing wrong with being held back as long as there's reviewing, which there is as to why you're allowing this to not push you forward, allowing yourself to sit where you are and not be pushed forward. I feel like you guys are like, wait a minute, hold on a second. I could get more. I could be happier. I don't have to sit in a situation where I'm dissatisfied with life. Where have I been leaving myself out? And I feel like not the devil, but the surrender your addictions card is coming up because you are more and more aware of what you feel is not allowing you to be 100% you. Where have you been stifling your truth, or where have you been biting your tongue, or where have you not been very honest with someone because either it would disrupt your stability, it would disrupt your comfort, it would ultimately cause some sort of ricochet of craziness to happen. Like, what have you been doing or not doing that doesn't honor who you truly are? Whatever that is something that it's a part of your day-to-day life, that is a routine that does offer some sort of temporary solution to some sort of relief, but ultimately leaves you back in square one, sitting on the chest that you have here. Hi, Angel Love. How you doing? Wish you could take a nap. Wish you could take naps. Girl, I wish I could take naps too. My lunch breaks are way too short. But that's what's going on with water energy. And this is just, I use Scorpio as an example for this. But if you look at Capricorn, if you look at Cancer, we have the Two of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles come up for them. Now, this is telling me that there's something holding y'all back too. But you also are working very hard on something as well. Like, where are you putting your energy where you're not necessarily fully like sold on a certain, like it's almost like you're working for a company, but you don't agree with their mission, but you're still doing it. Like, and so it's like you're not sure if this company truly represents who you are, because now their business motto is not the same. It's changed. It's actually conflicting with who you are, with your core belief system. And it may end up affecting how you feel about yourself because it's against what you believe. But it's a routine, it's a pattern, it's something that you've constantly been doing. Like the Eight of Pentacles, it takes a long time to get to the Eight of Pentacles. So this isn't something that's just started. This has been going on. Now this hasn't been going on for a while, but you've been dealing with this relationship, whatever this is to you, for a while. And I feel like it's now that they brought something new to it that's kind of got you on the fence. And I don't say this for you, Cancer, as an addiction, but I do feel like for y'all, this is something that has a routine, that has a temporary solution, but no longer is providing you the satisfaction. It's not giving you something anymore. Or you're aware that it's not giving you something that will ultimately help you. All right. And then last but not least, Pisces. Now, the only thing I have to say with Pisces here is reducing, surrendering addiction. I think that Pisces has already kind of done that. And the reason why is because look at all the fire energy, the beginning of passion, of exploring new passions, and then the King of Wands himself going and pursuing those passions. There's nothing holding him back. So Pisces was someone that's always associated with, taboo and yes, addictions or some sort of paraphernalia, because Neptune is the ruler of paraphernalia, dreams, illusions, fantasy, disillusionment, like all those things. You guys look like you guys are not swept away by the glitz and glamour of certain things taking control over you. You may be returning back to an ex. And that again could refer to a person, maybe feeling very passionate towards a person, and you're amped up to deal with this individual because this is someone that was already on your radar that you may not have never really moved on from. But I don't really see that either. I see this as someone that's pursuing something new despite setbacks of their previous cycle. They're ready to go. But not even that, you're also very solid in how you see yourself. You're very confident. But I think it's due to you releasing the addiction that you had that was taking, or that made you feel like you didn't have the power in the first place. That's what I gotta say for Pisces regarding that. All right, so let's take a look-see at some fire energy here. Let's see what's going on with the fire signs out here. Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. All right. So you guys have surrender the idea you can fix someone, and surrender your desire to control people. Interesting. What the heck? Typically to me, this together would be very, very similar, but different. Because of course, when it comes to fixing someone, we want them to do something that we feel would be healthier for them. But then with controlling people, this would suggest that we're doing something or pushing people to do something that's outside of their comfort zone. Or doing something that is outside of their decision making. You are putting your foot down in place of someone else making their own decisions and doing something. Interesting. But in a way, both of these two things are similar, like I was trying to lead up to. They're very similar because you're trying to control someone to fix themselves, which that can't happen. The only way the person has to fix themselves is by wanting to fix themselves. And I feel like it's interesting that you guys get these cards here, these two, because they're very, like I said, they're very similar in their own right. But I would never assume that this has to do with anything to do with controlling people, because you guys seem so focused on yourselves. But let's get into it. So, surrender your desire to control people. Being over-controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. This looks like exactly what Aries is going through right now. Reviewing the situation, not taking action, looking at the plans over again. Seeing where there can be progress and where there's reliability and consistency between the groups that you've already established to help you achieve a goal. Sagittarius, y'all had the 5 of Pentacles and the 10 of Swords. Whatever you have ended, or whatever has ended with you, you are now able to pursue with vigilance, because you no longer allow yourself, or there's the ending of something. Something came up where something ended that provided you the space to see something from its total perspective and be able to pursue, or not total perspective, at least see it differently. Like you've moved on from it in my eyes, and you're able to now pursue a direction that truly represents who you are. But you no longer allow yourself to sit in an energy that makes you feel like you can't achieve what you can achieve, because you don't have enough, which you do. So the ending of what you believe you don't have enough of. But even the 5 of Pentacles has 2 people in there. So it can refer to there being a struggle with another person, struggle with a relationship, struggle with a business partner. Or there's something that you feel like there's lacking. Maybe you're lacking some sort of support. Maybe you feel like there's the end of either you supporting someone else or someone else supporting you. There's something here that is the ending of belief of lack. Okay? And I feel like that has to do with the whole environment thing. And with Leo, 5 of Cups, there's 2 cups in this card. You're no longer looking at the loss. Even though the 5 of Cups, in my eyes, 5 of Cups is looking directly at the fallen cups, but the card reminds us that there is something else to work towards, to put our focus on. And that energy is involving more than one person in my eyes, because the Two of Cups is literally parallel to, which is Aquarian energy here. Two of Cups that you manifest in your second house is based off of how you are now treating yourself as far as value. So it's very clear to me that the cards are not saying that you need to release the control you need to release the desire to control people or the desire to fix people. I feel like you've already done that. I think you may have stuck around with relationships in the past and seen where you have been a resource for other people to fix themselves, where they really weren't fixing. Like, again, like I was saying with Aquarius, right? That they were looking at and seeing that how they've been living their life may have, how does that influence others? Or they're looking at other people from a perspective that would involve where they may have been either an influence or how that can then show them something about themselves. Aquarians are totally looking at this relationship thing very selfishly, and I say selfishly because that's a good thing. Aries do that all the time. Okay, they don't look at a situation from, oh, that person's mad at me because I believe that person, like, they're not looking at it from the person's perspective. They're like, okay, I understand that person's mad at me, but this is what I believe and this is why I feel, and I'm going to stand by that belief. Aquarians are very similar, and you guys are doing the same thing, but it happened through your bit. I hate that it had to happen in the way that your big heart got broken, but you, instead of letting yourself get bitter and nasty, you guys enriched your love and you've tightened your boundary around your big heart to give it to people that truly deserve that love. And I'm not saying that no one deserves love, but you are selecting people that truly are connected, or that truly are connected and truly are aware of who you are and understand your boundaries. You're not letting people in your life that use you now. There was people probably in your life that then use you, and now you're not letting those people in. So to this degree of these cards, you guys are all releasing the energy to control people and to fix people because you don't see the value of doing that for anybody, because it doesn't ultimately help you. It ultimately probably has set you back, but that setback has also brought you closer to yourself. So I don't think you guys are controlling anybody. I think maybe in the past you wanted to help people, and there was this desire to tell people how to do that. And now you're like, well, if you can't figure it out for yourself, you will figure it out, but I'm not going to be the person or the platform in which you do it to or do it with. A lot of you guys are like saying, I can no longer extend myself to a person like this because I'm not getting anything from it. And ultimately, it's not helping you to give your energy to help someone else when you're not willing to help yourself. So I feel like for all of you fire signs out here, you're no longer giving your energy to people that don't try to help themselves. You're no longer giving your energy to people that are looking to straight up use you as a placeholder for their misery. And instead, you're seeing yourself as your own platform to propel yourself farther than you ever have, so that way you can be as happy as you can be. So that's a pretty powerful message for all the fire signs. So let's go ahead and see what's going on with my earth energy. What's happening? Oh, surrender. What is defensiveness? Oh, wow. Defensiveness is a sign of weakness. We'll get back to that in a minute. But to communicate in a more powerful, empowering way, stay centered and hear someone out. Then offer a clear and undefensive response. Okay. Defensiveness is not a sign of weakness. A defensiveness, because if that was the case, then what are boundaries? Boundaries is a defense. So in that regard, I can't necessarily agree with the card in that regard. But what I am going to say is this: defensiveness does show that there's something about either the topic of discussion or the situation that's put your back up that makes you feel like you have to defend yourself when there's no need for it. So of course, looking at Virgo, for example, right? They have the moon and the star. They have a lot of things going for them. They're excited about their new relationships and things. Oh, so it's not about understanding and learning themselves, but they have the moon there. They're intimidated by their relationships. Or there's an indication that they may have anxieties and nervous energy around their relationship, around their love lives. Because, of course, that's a confusing element for them. Relationships for Virgos right now is very confusing because they're relearning how to be who they are, right? They're learning who they are so they can understand who they need to be for themselves in relationships. So, of course, that defensiveness, it comes into play when a Virgo in this situation is dealing with their relationships. So Virgo, you're dealing with relationships, you're dealing with your emotions, so to speak, when it comes to relationships, because it's intense. It's a lot. And it brings up a lot of feelings about yourself that you may have that are not very healthy, or that may really obscure the truth about who you actually are. So when it comes to surrendering to defensiveness, I can agree that maybe your feelings that are coming up shouldn't be shot down, shouldn't be told off, shouldn't be anything other than compassionate and loving, like the moon would suggest for Cancer energy. But the moon for the tarot is actually for Pisces, right? So we look back at Pisces, you got a lot of energy here. You got a lot of energy, if we were to look at it this way. And what it's telling me is that you're maybe, as Virgos, you may be defensive of yourselves' capability in your relationships. I think like Pisces is surging with tons of energy, tons of power, surging with it. Nothing can stop them. They're this is an unstoppable object. This is an unstoppable object. And your passion is soaring through the freaking roof. Look at that with the moon. Moon is intense energy. So of course, right? You're surging with tons of passion. So the surrender, the defensiveness part, perhaps for Virgo, would be suggesting that there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to hold back regarding your emotions or how you express yourself, because how you express yourself is perfect. It's you. In order to know who you really are, this area of unawareness, right? The moon not being clear will be clear as long as you continue to be authentic to who you are. You don't have to hide yourself. And I don't think that you guys are doing that now. I think you guys have in the past, because the moon is, in my eyes, is something that's shrouded, is something that's covered, is hidden. You can't truly see everything. So obviously something may not be seen as clearly or properly as it should be because it's not in light. So to truly give yourself a chance, there has to be the elimination of judgment, the elimination of things being a way that people may assume it should be. For Capricorn, it's interesting. It's almost like I was saying before. I thought you guys, like I said, that you guys maybe have a lot more fun, have a lot more sex. Let's just be honest, right? You're celebrating your life. But some of you guys also maybe, be aware of some things that may be setting you back and keeping you from progressing forward, even though you have already reached a really good space. Some of you guys may be resorting back to old habits and behaviors despite being in a place of success and where you can improve and grow further, because the defensive energy is coming up. Surrender, defensiveness. What are we defensive about? Perhaps maybe we want to preserve what we've succeeded to obtain. So therefore, we will be resorting back to old ways of controlling the situation to make sure that it stays in line. And again, this is not like it's a bad thing, and I don't mean that at all in a bad way. I do mean that as in, like, you want to preserve it. Very similar to what Scorpio is doing here, like what Scorpio was doing, which was defending what was theirs, defending what is theirs. But right now, they're trying to understand why they're standing around dealing with something that they may not necessarily be happy about. For you, Capricorn, it may be that this is something that requires a new approach, a carefree approach. And it's a little hard to do, but it's something that can definitely be done because your energy is now not being used in the most useful way. Because, again, there may be some sort of preservation for what you're trying to establish in your relationships right now. And with Taurus, like the Page of Pentacles and the Star, the defensiveness for me, for Taurus, is eliminating itself, is going somewhere, is leaving, but through process. It's doing slow process. You're taking the slow processes and being very thorough with your development because you're reconstructing your own stability system. Like I said before, your own sense of security. Of course, surrendering defensive. You don't have a defense system here. I believe you're like hanging out in the open. You're the most open out of all the earth signs that come up. And even Virgo is pretty open right now. Like between you and Virgo, Capricorn is the least open from what it looks like by the cards. But even then, you're trying to redefine your defense system. But you're doing that by understanding your feelings, by not bulking up. I feel like you do that by healing yourself, by doing things that you do see as valuable. So it's profound. It's very interesting. All right. Last but not least, my air signs. Let's see what we got going on for us. All right. Air energy. What do they got for the month of November? What do they need to release for the month of November? What messages do you need to release your ego? Gosh. Look at that. As soon as Libra slaps on the Emperor card, they say, like, we get the release your ego card. Release your ego or surrender your ego. It doesn't say release it, but it says surrender your ego. It says, cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. And I feel like the person that's really executing this executing this to the T is Aquarius. Like I was saying before, is that you guys were looking at people and truly seeing who you've been. Not necessarily has influenced them. And I said that the entire time, but I feel like that you guys are looking at how your manifestation is also how that attributes to your relationships, so to speak. Yes, I think some of you guys are looking at how you've been influencing other people's lives and, looking at it from a very powerful perspective in the sense of like, you're looking at it in a very empowering way. Like, I wonder who this person really is. I wonder how this person is right now, and how does that affect me? You're looking at it from a very humbling perspective in my eyes. And it's a humbling, even though it's still selfish. I say selfish with quotations because it's not truly selfish. You're coming from your own place where you only should be coming from anyway. And you're surrendering. I feel like Aquarius has been surrendering their ego. Aquarius may not surrender their ego in the area with the Magician where the power is going to the head and they're going to be interacting with an alpha, and they're going to probably be dealing with that, which is already something that everybody should be going ahead and grab some popcorn with. But aside from that, I feel like there is manifestation around another partner. And you were out of your own way to do that in the sense of, your capabilities. You don't need to dwell on it. But for the other air signs, it's very interesting. The only person I say that has their ego on par or that has the ego on hyperdrive is the Emperor for Libra. Because if you look at Gemini is becoming more of a child. They're trying to, I don't want to say becoming more of a child, but they're getting back in touch with their youth, getting back in touch with their imagination, their expression. And it's through starting fresh. They're relieving themselves of the ego that would otherwise keep them from exploring and doing things without judgment. Because the fool don't judge. The fool don't give a fuck. The fool is just living his life. So I feel like with Gemini is doing that too. They're surrendering their ego. Aquarius is surrendering their ego by no longer allowing their ego to define what can and cannot be possible. But Libra, their ego is all over the place. Look at that. Like Libras, we got the Emperor going on here, and then we got the world. I feel like we've definitely gotten harder and a lot more solid as far as where we stand for ourselves and enforcing that. But are we now trying to make something happen where it's not appropriate? Are we doing something that does truly honor us and make sure that we are respected? Or are we now trying to make everything fall in line because we've been the ones compromising so much, and now we're annoyed with the fact that everything that we've got going on has been a compromising of ourselves and our truth? And I feel like to that degree, maybe, but even then, that's not a bad thing. The point I'm trying to make here is, with the Emperor in the world for Libra and the surrendering of the ego, it may be that what is really something that honors us and what is just an act of controlling something. We have to remind ourselves of what matters to us, and to of course live by that. I feel like some Libras are definitely living by this. They're staying by their truth, and they're not converting themselves back because they've already learned the lessons that they needed to. They're being the leaders that they have been, that the leaders that cardinal signs are meant to be. But then there's some Libras that are being super stubborn, perhaps because they're not ready to complete a situation yet. Some Libras are not ready to complete something yet. Some Libras are. And then there's some Libras that may have an inflation of ego because they have done something in a way that may have resulted in the evolvement of an information, but they're using it now to control their outcome or control something. Because sometimes the Emperor can be overly controlling. So it could suggest that whatever you've learned that is of value, that was a gift, is now being used as a weapon. It can be used as a weapon. And then in this regard here, we have to be careful to not let our egos work against us. And two, this doesn't have to be that this is about Libras controlling people. This could be, this could be the Emperor. This may have to do with Libras becoming more stern with their beliefs, becoming more, more strong in where they stand, because they've gone through this stuff before. They know that they've reached a point now where they don't need to entertain something. And now they have to assert themselves in order for that to be respected and seen. And the ego that's in that really is humility, but the ego that wants to keep that would just kind of compromise and keep going with things, that's what probably has to be surrendered here. So it all depends on which, what resonates with you, Libra. But everyone here looks like they're looking to expand themselves somewhere. And I say that with Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So, wow. We have some really big messages for November. Really big messages. And I really hope everybody got something really good out of every last one of these, because we're going to need all the help we can get with Mercury going retrograde in Scorpio and us going through Scorpio season anyway. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. North Node in Cancer. I just answered my own question. Like, it's so much more intense than last year when we had Jupiter going through it, and then we had Venus going retrograde in Scorpio. We had so many planets going retrograde in Scorpio last year that this, in my eyes, doesn't really feel like it compares. It was rough, but it's almost like this is a new kind of rough through Scorpio season, but rough that will, of course, will prevail through and will transform by the end of it. But y'all, it has been an absolute pleasure and honor to just go ahead and sit here and pull reads for every last one of you guys, every last sign here. And I want to thank everybody for coming out and joining me this evening on Halloween. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend coming up. And I also want to say thank you so much for everybody that's been participating on my IG posts. I'm going to be trying to do more. I know I've been slacking, but I'm going to get better with that. And I thank you guys all so very much for tuning in and giving your support tonight. Love y'all to death. Okay? And I will see you on the other side. Take care, family. Bye, guys.